you get to southwestern Iowa, southwestern Wyoming, you got some winter storm warnings. Salt Lake City and for I-80. So if you're traveling on I-80 or trying to get down to Utah, you're going to run into this weather. Hopefully a lot of this will be passed by Thursday, but you'll have some leftover snow-packed roads, slick conditions, so give yourself some extra time. It looks like most of this storm should be moving on by about early Thursday morning, so that's the good news. We do have some winter storm watches, though, until Sunday evening, so there's going to be several waves of snow that come through portions of Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, and even South Dakota as we get into this weekend. So you'll want to pay attention to the forecast very carefully. There is snow expected, and some blowing snow may be possible as well. It's January in Wyoming. You're going to run into some of that stuff. Yeah, for sure. Kim, are we going to see snow in Custer? So let's look at some of these winter weather advisories we got for our area. So go ahead and turn this off. There we go. So Custer County is in a winter weather advisory, but the city of Custer, notice, is just outside of this advisory area. So you got all the winter weather advisories surrounding the city of Custer, but not included is the city of Custer. It's mostly going to be out towards the plains. All of Fall River County, all of Oglala Lakota County, most of Jackson County, and all of Bennett County are included in this winter weather advisory. This is going to go until 2 p.m. tomorrow. So 2 o'clock tomorrow, could see about 1 to 3 inches of snow. And along with that, you could have some blowing snow from time to time. So some gusty winds may drop visibility. And remember, we're not going to have any melting snow or anything that kind of dampens snow accumulations. Every snowflake's going to count. We got very cold temperatures, and the snow's going to be blown around. It's going to be that dry, powdery stuff, particularly as we head towards tomorrow morning. So make sure you keep that in mind. Right now, at this point, it's a judgment call. If you are planning on traveling in those areas, especially with this cold weather, have a winter kit. Tell someone where you're going to go and what time you expect to be there, just in case something were to happen. See, Crazy Horse is doing its thing. Yes, it is. Hey, Tom, good to see you. Traveling east Friday. How does it look for Yankton area? So, let's go to the eastern side of the state here real quick. So, Mitchell, Yankton area, you're under winter storm watch. That goes until Friday, 6 p.m. So, this is expected to start sometime Thursday afternoon. So, the earlier you can leave on Thursday, tomorrow, the better your chances are to avoid a lot of the higher impacts. But once you get to Thursday afternoon, we're fully in it. 2 to 7 inches of snow with winds gusting up to 35 miles per hour for the eastern section of the state. So that's what we're expecting for East River. Let's go ahead and get to the radar. We'll kind of look at the radar here. So pushing forward here, these snow showers are expected to become a little bit more numerous once we get to about 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So you're going to wake up in places like Hill City, Custer Hot Springs, Newcastle, Pine Ridge to snow. It'll be snowing, and temperatures will be much colder, looking at single digits and teens for most of the area. And that snow continues to move through. This is 10 a.m. tomorrow. Pine Ridge, Martin, Hot Springs. You're still seeing this snow moving through. And by the way, just because Rapid City is not in the winter weather advisory doesn't mean we won't possibly see some snow. But right now, it looks like dry air and dry pockets are going to keep a lot of that snow at bay and push it to the south of us. So mostly areas south of Interstate 90. Let's go ahead and move this forward here. Boom. By the time you get to Thursday afternoon, the cold air is really settling in, but the snow showers will start to taper off. So Pine Ridge, Martin may have some leftover snow showers by Thursday afternoon, but all this is starting to finally move on out by the time you get to Friday morning. Friday morning into Friday afternoon, more chances of strafing snow showers. We're going to have 10 to 15 different waves of light snow come through the Black Hills between now and Sunday. That's why there's no snow maps really posted on this for any individual event. I think through Sunday, a lot of us may see up to 1 to 4 inches of snow, maybe 2 to 6 inches of snow for the Black Hills, the northern Black Hills specifically, between now and Saturday. So it's a long period of time. which means plows should be able to keep up with the snow. People will be able to keep up with the snow reports. This isn't all going to come at once. It's going to be stretched over a long period of time with that cold weather. So hopefully that answers that question. All right, let's look at our temperatures here as we go into tomorrow, because that's kind of the big deal here. So as we look into early Thursday, especially about 6 a.m., yeah, single digits and some teens out there. Overall, we've seen this before, but it's been a while since we've seen it. So cold temperatures start settling in by early tomorrow morning. And then as we look to Thursday afternoon, many of us will struggle to get out of the single digits. Let's move this forward. Let's go into Thursday night into Friday morning. Check out Hill City and Custer. So negative teens look possible. Lots of below zero temperatures across the area. You'll be lucky if you stay above zero Thursday night into Friday morning. And as we go to Friday afternoon, we'll struggle to get above zero for many locations. Rapid City, you may see 5 as a high temperature. Phillips, 7. Hill City, Deadwood, you may struggle to get above zero. And might I add, if you do get an inch or more of light snow in your area, that following evening, with clear skies, you could take those temperatures and drop them by about 10 degrees. So if you get light snow in Deadwood between now and Friday morning, Friday afternoon, those temperatures may very well be 15 below zero, not just 5 below zero. Fresh snow and clear skies can really emphasize some of these colder temperatures in the overnight hours. Let's look at the winds. Let's go ahead and do this. So as we get towards Thursday, you notice the winds start to pick up a little bit. It's kind of curving around the Black Hills here. So let's push this forward here. So those winds still stick out of the north, and they're curving around the Black Hills. Look at that. You can see that right there. So we go from northwesterly winds to northerly winds in Rapid City to northeasterly winds in Hot Springs, Pine Ridge, and Martin. This is a chilly wind. This has moisture content to it. Not a lot, but just enough where that wind chill factor is going to be well below zero. Could be 20 or 30 below zero wind chill factor. That's about 10 to 15 minutes before frostbite occurs on exposed skin. So make sure you're taking that seriously and taking the proper steps. It doesn't matter if you've seen 20, 30, 40 winters in South Dakota. If you're not properly dressed for the conditions, you're going to run into some problems, period. You know, we're not superhuman. We still are at the mercy of the elements if we're not being careful with them. All right, let's go ahead and look at the winds as we go into Thursday afternoon. Notice winds die down. That's good. Wind chill factor, not much of a big deal. And then as we go into Friday, starts getting breezy out of the north. Friday, likely going to see some wind chill advisories on Friday for 20 to 30 below zero wind chill factors. You've got temperatures struggling to get above zero, and we have gusts pushing 30, 35 miles per hour. So that wind chill factor is going to be very low, and we'll likely need some advisories in place. So that's a day. Friday is a day where you're going to want to bundle up. Gloves, scarf, it doesn't matter if you need to bring 2 or 3 layers. Do it. That's the day to do it. Make sure if you're driving somewhere, you have a winter kit, you have proper warm clothing. Bring the furry companions, the pets inside that are not good for this weather. This is not something to mess around with. Let's see, popsicle time. Sun is in Gregory. All right. Awesome. Stacy, good to see you there. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments section. I'll do my best to answer them. All right, let's go ahead and push into, look at these winds again. So Thursday, as a recap, Thursday morning, winds a little bit on the tough side. Then the winds died down for Thursday night. Friday afternoon, the winds return. So wind chill factor on Friday, going to be quite a deal. All right, so next couple of days, here's the 7-day forecast. We're looking at temperatures that may struggle to get above zero Saturday and Sunday. The good news is that once we get past Tuesday, 22 degrees may be optimistic, but I think we could hit the 20s, maybe a few locations hitting 30 degrees again by Wednesday and Thursday of next week. But then we have another reinforcing cold front, ball of Arctic air that will move into the area by next weekend. That air could potentially be just as cold, if not colder, than the air we're expecting this weekend. So we need to treat this as a long-term cold event. Pipes need to be wrapped. If you are in a manufactured home, any exposed part of your infrastructure, pipes, it's got to be wrapped, got to be taken care of. Next 2 weeks, we may struggle to get above freezing for the next 2 weeks, if not potentially longer. I think somewhere between January 21st, January 23rd is when we could start seeing some real meaningful improvements, maybe some 30s and 40s back in the forecast. But again, that's just being optimistic. It's pretty far out, but there are signs that a ridge of high pressure coming from the southwest will bring us some warmer and drier conditions just in time for the stock show. Let's see. So what should go into the winter kit? Well, that's a great question because it's going to be different depending on what area you live in. If you're in Rapid City, making sure you're when we say winter kit, it's having things in mind, making sure your car battery works, right? Make sure your car battery works. Have a good battery in there. Antifreeze, having that on hand, never a bad idea. Plenty of warm clothing. Have blankets with you. Extra batteries if that applies. You know, if you got one of those portable phone chargers for your phone, that would be great. Having a way to stay in contact. And the best things you can do is not on the road, but before you leave. Let someone know where you're going. Let someone know what time you expect to be there. That way, if you don't show up, they can say, hey, I think something happened, and we know what road they were on. There's so many times where that happens, and no one says anything, no one tells anyone where they're going, and they're stuck, and they have no way to reach out to someone. So this is going to be a good time to be very aware of those kinds of things. Minnesota cold, Valerie says. Yes, we're getting a little bit of a taste of Minnesota cold there. So the good news is that we could see a little bit of a break in the middle portion of next week. Bad news is we are likely going to see another polar plunge next weekend, going into basically late January. And then things look to possibly improve by the 21st, 22nd, 24th, or excuse me, 21st, 22nd, 23rd of January. Skipped a number there. Take this seriously. Yes, South Dakota has seen these cold temperatures before. This is a pretty typical cold snap. We usually get one. We haven't had one quite as long as this since about February of 2021, if you remember that. That one was a pretty good one. A pretty good cold snap. Texas remembers that, certainly. And it's been about 2 years since we've had a cold snap of this significance. Check on your neighbors, especially those who may need assistance. The elderly, make sure their heat works, check in on them, make sure they're doing all right. This is a good time to be good neighbors to each other, and making sure you're bringing in your pets indoors. I've said that already. Just we've been through this before. We can get through this. Just be smart, be safe. Assume that if you see water on the road, it's not water. It's likely ice at this point. There's not a lot of melting going on. The ice that built up from that last storm really has kept the snow around in many front yards, and even on untreated roads. So you want to take that into account. All right, so it looks like we don't have any questions necessarily, so we'll go ahead and keep things good. Thank you, Miranda. We're going to be talking more about this at the 5:30 show. I just got the rundown right here. And likely going to be answering questions for the next couple of days. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out and ask through Facebook or my Facebook page, Chief Meteorologist Brent Beckman, News Center 1 Facebook page. We don't get to all the questions. I try and get to as many of them as possible. Sometimes they get buried. So if your question doesn't get answered, feel free to send another message to say, hey, haven't gotten an answer in this question yet, and I'll do my best to get to those. All right? Guys, stay warm. Check on your neighbors. We'll get through this together. It's another cold South Dakota winter. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you at News Center 1 at 5:30.